I hope you are doing well. Students, in this session, I'll be explaining you the first chapter of geography. And your first chapter is resources and development. So children, in this session, we are going to read about resources in context to development. Children, development is definitely very important. But how will the development take place? Resources are needed. If we want development, then we need resources. So, resources are very important. They play a vital role if we want development. Development may be personal development, it may be individual development, or it may be development of the complete nation, development of the economy. For any kind of development, we need resources. They are indispensable part for development. They are very important if we want development. Now children, if we talk about resources, then what are resources? Children, whatever is present around us or anything that is present around us can be considered as resources. For example, it may be air, water, land, then plants, soil, sun, minerals, rocks, oil, petroleum, animals, and also human beings. Yes, human beings are also resource. They are resource for development. Because ultimately we human beings only we do several activities and and then lead towards development. So children, if we, for example, if I talk about minerals, there are so many minerals. If I talk about iron ore, yes, definitely iron ore is a resource. But how will that iron ore lead towards development? You will have to use iron ore, and before using that iron ore, you will have to extract that iron ore. It has to be extracted properly, and then it can be used for the constructions of building, and hence development will take place. So, in order to develop anything, resources are integral. They are very important. They play a vital role in case of development. Now children, my question is, what are resources? So as I told you that everything that is present around us or everything that satisfy our need can be called as resource. This is a definition, but this is not the complete definition of resource. Something is missing. Now what is missing? Children, a proper definition of resource can be everything available in our environment which can be used to satisfy our needs, provided it is technologically accessible, culturally acceptable, and third, economically feasible. Children, these three are the dimensions, these are the key points. If you want to write a proper definition, if you want to say a proper definition, then these points are very important. You have to include these points in your definition, then only the definition of resource will be complete. Yes, of course, everything that is present around us that is used to satisfy our need is definitely resource, but that should be technologically accessible, culturally acceptable, and economically feasible. Now, what is the meaning of these three terms? You need to understand these three terms very well. If you understand these three terms, then only you can understand the real or exact meaning of resource. So I'll deal with these three terms. These are very important. Now children, let me explain you the first term, that is technologically accessible. Now what is the meaning of technologically accessible? I'll explain this term with the help of an example. Children, for example, you know that there is iron ore or there is gold somewhere. You know the position, you know you have to extract it. But will that iron ore or will that gold automatically come to you and will say that, oh, use me? No, it will not come to you automatically. What you have to do? You will have to extract it. It is below the ground level. So you will have to do something. And how it will be extracted? It will be extracted with the help of machines, with the help of proper techniques, with the help of proper technology. So this is the meaning of technologically accessible. Means you should have proper techniques, you should have proper technology. You should know how you have to extract it. This is the meaning of technologically accessible. Now we have the second term. The second term is economically feasible. Now again I'll explain this term with the help of an example. Suppose you have gold. You know that gold is there. You know that where it is in the ground, and you also have proper techniques in order to extract gold. But children, one thing, suppose while extracting you have used 20 lakhs in order to extract that gold, and after involving your 20 lakhs, after engaging your 20 lakhs, you are getting a profit of merely 15 lakhs. Then this will not be considered as economically feasible, because you are not getting proper profit, you are not getting enough or sufficient profit, you are incurring loss rather than profit. So that will not be considered as economically feasible. It means that you should get profit as well as it should add value to the economy. Profit motive, definitely we do work for profit motive. What we will do with the resource if we are not getting any profit, if it is not leading towards development, it is leading towards loss. If I am incurring my 20 lakhs and I am getting only 15 lakhs as 15 lakhs, I am not even getting the value that I have invested, then it will lead towards loss. So that will not be considered as development. That will not be called as development. So this is the meaning of economically feasible. This means that you should get, it should give you proper profit, so that it will and not only the proper profit, and it should add to the value it should add value to the economy. This is the meaning. This is the meaning of the second term, second dimension, that is economically feasible. Now let's come to our third dimension, third key word, that is culturally acceptable. Now children, from the word only you can identify or you can understand the meaning. Culturally acceptable. Culturally means culture, society, and acceptable means something that is accepted. So resources should be like, it should be accepted by the society. The society should give value to it. The society should accept it. The society should preserve it. That is the meaning of culturally acceptable. The society should be ready to accept it. For example, if I take about gold, the society do accept gold. The society knows the value of gold. We don't treat gold like rock, or we don't treat gold like stones, like rocks or stones simply. It has some value. We preserve it for our future. It has a great value. So this is the meaning of culturally acceptable. We should preserve it, we should accept it, and we should add value to it. So these are the three key points without which the definition of resource is incomplete. So children, anything that is used to satisfy our need, provided it is technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable, is termed as resource. So this is the proper and complete definition of resource. Now children, I'll explain you the interdependence of nature, that means the physical environment, technology, and institution. We will see that how these three are interdependent. They are dependent on each other. Children, these three things, that is physical environment, technology, and institution, they are interdependent on each other, and then only the human beings, they can use them as resources. As I told you that there are several resources found in our nature. There are several things, but can we use them without the help of technology? We cannot use them. Can we use them without money? It is not possible. Money is needed, proper technology is needed, proper techniques are needed, and they are totally interdependent. They are related to each other. If one of the pillars is also missing, then the human beings cannot use them. The human beings cannot treat them as resource. We cannot treat them as resource, and it will hence not lead towards development. Children, if I talk about physical environment means whatever resources that are found in our environment, that whatever resources that are found in our nature. For example, it may be air, water, mineral, land, everything. These are gifts of nature. The nature has given us so many gifts, and it depends on us how do we use it. And one more thing, if definitely we are given so many gifts from nature. The nature has given us, the nature We are blessed that nature has given us so much resources. But in the absence of technology or in the absence of proper technique, can we use them? Is it possible to use them? No, it is not possible to use them in the absence of technology. For example, we have sufficient sunlight. Every time it is there. In India, the climate is very favorable. We have sunlight. Abundance of sunlight is there in India. Are we using all the sunlight? Every sunlight? No. And how can we use sunlight? How can we use solar energy? With the help of solar plates. How can we use wind? With the help of windmills. How can we use water? Means it has to be purified. So techniques are very important, and in the absence of techniques, human beings cannot use them. So these three things are interdependent on each other. It makes a triangle. In a triangle, all the sides are equal. So it makes a triangle and it is all connected with each other, and then only human beings can use it well. So children, human beings, we interact with nature, we interact with the physical environment through technology, and then create institutions to accelerate their economic development. In order to seek development, in order to have development, the interdependence of the three is must. So children, this process involves an interactive relationship between nature, technology and institutions. And human beings, they are at the center. If these things are related, then only human beings can use these things, and then development can take place. So children, this was the introduction of the chapter. So in this chapter, there are several topics which we are going to deal. I am going to explain you. For example, first I'll explain you regarding classification of resources, means the different types of resources. Then about development of resources, and that will also include Agenda 21. Then further I will explain you about resource planning, and that will include resource planning in India also. Further, we will study about land as a resource, then about land utilization, then about land use pattern in India, then about land degradation and conservation measures. Then further we will study about soil as a resource. Then we will see the classification of soil. There are different types of soil. For example, red soil, black soil, arid soil, laterite soil. There are different types of soil. So we are going to see the classification or different types of soil. Then further we will study about soil erosion and then soil conservation. So this was the basic introduction of the chapter, which we are going to deal with in the next session.